Welcome to Football with Cheese. We're continuing our off-season recaps as we close out the NFC South with the Carolina Panthers. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss one of my videos. We cover all 32 teams on this channel, including Carolina. So the Panthers did not have a good year last year. It's been a rough stretch for them. They went 5-12. They got off to a really rough start. Bryce Young was the first overall pick in the 2023 draft. He was a quarterback out of Alabama. And he had a really poor rookie year, to say the least. And he gets off to a horrible start again. And Panther fans are like, oh no, we should have taken C.J. Stroud. We totally missed on it. Gets benched for Andy Dalton. So things were looking pretty rough. He got his job back a few games later. And in the second half of the season, something clicked. Not sure exactly what happened, but Bryce Young started playing really well. I think he had one pretty bad game in there. Can't remember who it was. Was it the Cowboys? I'm not sure. But the second half, he played well for the most part, and the last three games especially, he was outstanding. In that overtime win against Atlanta to end the season, he had 5 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing. So things are looking up in Carolina. If Young plays like he did in the second half of the year for a whole season, then Carolina has a chance to make the playoffs. Their offense will be really good if he plays like that, because there's a lot of talent on this offense. Defense, not so much, but we'll get into that. In free agency, their big move was extending J.C. Horn, their star corner. He had a really good 2023. He took a step back in 2024. They're hoping he goes back to how he played the year before, but you had to keep him. I value the cornerback position more than most teams. But if you have a corner who can shut down the other receiver, and he's shown that in some games, especially in the 2023 season, you have to keep him. They signed Tershawn Wharton from the Chiefs. He's mainly an interior pass rusher only. You probably don't want him playing on running downs. But they needed help on the defensive line. It was really poor last year. They signed Patrick Jones, edge rusher from the Vikings. I don't really understand that signing. He wasn't anything special. I think the move was just we got to get some bodies in there in case the draft doesn't fall our way as far as edge rusher goes, but it did. More on that in a second. They ended up releasing Jadeveon Clowney, who's been in the league for many years, former first overall pick. I get it. He's still a great run defender, but they drafted 2 edge rushers, and they need snaps. So I expect Clowney by training camp to sign with someone. And the last notable signing was Trevor Moehrig, safety from the Raiders. I like this move because their safeties were not good last year. They were really bad in the back end. So basically, in the trenches and in the back end, they were really poor. So Moehrig has been injured some in his career. He was better in 2023 and 2024, but I understand the signing, and they had the cap room to do it. In the draft, this is where they got better. Tedero McMillan went 8th overall. He's a wide receiver from Arizona. He's 6'4", something like 215. Great in contested catches, runs good routes. He's more agile than most guys that are that size. So the talent is there. The only real issue I have with him was there was a report that he didn't love football and he didn't like to watch film. Now, this is back in 2023. He told a journalist that. But obviously, Carolina's not worried about it because they used 8th overall pick on him, and they needed a number 1 receiver, and he has that upside. They just did not have that go-to receiver for Bryce Young. So if Bryce Young plays that well late in the year without Tedero McMillan, wow, he could really have a breakout year. I'm going to link my Tedero McMillan draft breakdown. I did a bunch of those videos before the draft. I'll link it in one of these boxes. So Panther fans, you can check that out, learn more about him. In the second, third round, they decided to go pass rush, which we talked about was maybe their biggest need. Nick Skuratin, I still don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, from Texas A&M. There were rumors he could go late first round. They get him in the middle of the second round. Well, I like this pick. Texas A&M likes their defensive linemen to play bigger, edge rushers to play 280, 285, defensive tackles to play more 320, 330. So Skuratin played about 280 pounds, and I think that's too big. The rumor is he's down to 267, 265, something like that. That's where he needs to play. So he has the potential to be even better now that he's slimmed down. It'll probably help him just rushing the passer. And in the third round, they took Princely Umanmielen. I hope I said that right. Edge rusher from Ole Miss. He's undersized, but he's a good speed rusher. Good value in the third round. Designated pass rusher only, but they need a pass rush up, and they got it. So I like both those picks. In the fourth round, I just want to mention one more pick. I got Lathan Ransom, safety, Ohio State. He might have to start right away because the safety group, besides Morrig, is pretty poor. He's a really good athlete, too. The Panthers drafted a lot of real athletic players. No matter what, if they don't work out, they got more athletic as a team. Undrafted free agent, Luke Kandra, guard from Cincinnati. His jumps were amazing. His agility drills were really poor. So he's probably not a pull guard. And probably limited to zone blocking scheme only, not a gap scheme. That may be why he fell. Going into the offseason, he was a third or fourth round pick. And then a month later, he was more of a fifth or sixth round pick. Then right before the draft, he was seventh round priority free agent. I don't know why he fell. Maybe it is the agility drills. But he just gradually fell throughout the process because I saw him in some third round mocks right after the college season ended. I think he can develop into a starting guard in a zone scheme. So I like that signing. He's obviously not going to play right away because they have Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt. That's a really good guard tandem. Probably an underrated group, the offensive line. Let's just talk about that real quick. They don't have a stud on their offensive line, but all 5 spots are above average to good. So they have 5 Bs or B minuses on the offensive line. And here's why that's important. If you have one weakness on the offensive line, or 2 for sure, you can scheme against it. Look at the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Look at the Houston Texans when they lost. And Green Bay, late in the year, lost a close game to Minnesota. I think they lost by 2 points. And lost by 3 points on a last-second field goal to the Lions. They needed to win both games. In those games, the Vikings-Lions, who had really good defensive coordinators, threw everything at Josh Myers, the center, now on the Jets, and right guard Sean Ryan. That was the weakest part of Green Bay's offensive line, especially Josh Myers at center. They didn't handle stunts well, didn't handle blitzes well, and Jordan Love was on his back foot throwing throughout those games. So you cannot have weaknesses on the offensive line, and Carolina just doesn't. Like I said, they're above average to good everywhere in the offensive line. It's a talented offense. This could be a really good group if Bryce Young plays well. Important players, we mentioned Bryce Young, the quarterback. Chuba Hubbard, or is it Chuba? I think it's Chuba. Hubbard, running back. One of the most underrated running backs in the NFL. Is a 4th-round pick. He's a really good runner. Not the best receiver, but you can take him out on passing downs. Put in Rico Dowdle, the free agent they signed from the Cowboys. And Jonathan Brooks, if he ever plays. He was their 2nd-round pick last year. Just not healthy. Another really good running back. It's a really talented running back room. Adam Thielen is a veteran receiver. Not what he used to be, but when you have a young team like that, you need veterans. And Adam Thielen still produces, despite being toward the end of his career. J.C. Horn, we mentioned, the cornerback, needs to bounce back like he played in the 2023 season. And on defense in general, it's just not a talented group. They focus more on offense the last 2 or 3 seasons. But defensive tackle is really weak. A lot of people thought they'd draft one early. Like I said in many videos, sometimes the board just doesn't fall that way. But the offense has a chance to be one of the better ones in the NFL. I'm serious. You were like, what? The Panthers? But I don't see them being a playoff team. I don't see them better than 3rd in the division because the defense is going to have some games where it gives up 38, 40 points. It's just not super talented. The pass rush is better, but they need one more draft where they just hit on some defensive players, defensive tackle, linebacker, maybe another safety. But it's looking up for Carolina. One last thing I want to mention is the breakout player. I'm going to go Jatavian Sanders. He's a tight end from Texas. He was drafted in the 4th round in 2024 draft. He's going to be the starting tight end, more than likely. He's not a blocker. He's receiving tight end only. But with Tedero McMillan now on the team, there's going to be some underneath opportunities for Sanders. And he was a good player at Texas. Didn't do much as a rookie, but look for him to have a 2nd-year breakout. So comment down below. How many wins do you think the Panthers will have? Do you think it was a fluke last year, or is Bryce Young about to break out? If you have not subscribed, please do so now. Enable alerts so you never miss a video. Share this with anyone who loves football as we continue to grow football with cheese. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Check these out if you have not, and I will see you in the next video.